the chair and say you're satisfied as you sit there that the jurisdictional facts existed for IDAC to take on this matter. It takes me back then to my earlier question, which I said we will reserve for Ms. Johnson when she comes. And my question is this. Section 27 speaks of a specified offense or something like that. It says there must be a specified offense. What is the specified offense that you say you were satisfied is present to trigger your jurisdiction?
My answer to that would be, when I read what is written in the 27 and on this, I draw the inference here, the inference that there is fraud and corruption. That is my answer to it.
27 speaks of a specified offense, and if you remember, I did refer you to Section 1, which defines what is a specified offense, and it defines it by reference to the now deleted Section 7.1. It says specified offense is the offense in 7.1. When you go to 7.1, 7.1 has been deleted. You sit there now, you say you were satisfied that the jurisdictional requirements were present. Therefore, it must mean you were satisfied that there is a specified offense as defined. And my question is, what is that specified offense that was previously defined in the deleted Section 7.1 that you found to be present, and as you sit there, you find to be present to have triggered the jurisdiction?
In terms of the 7.1A.
We're not at 7.1A, we are at 7.1. 7.1A doesn't speak to a specified offense. It has nothing to do with a specified offense. 27 is triggered when there's a specified offense. That's what 27 says. Now, the provision that used to list or to explain what is a specified offense is no longer there. And you say now to the chairperson, yes, the jurisdictional fact is present. I was satisfied, I'm still satisfied that it's present. And I say to you, well, it has to be a specified offense. Show us what is the specified offense with reference to both what is alleged in the affidavit, but two, with reference to the act that gives you jurisdiction to investigate this matter.
Yes. Commissioner, I'm going to answer it in this way. When you look at the statutory offenses and where I come across corruption, right? With the appointment, manipulation of the process, all of that, the fraud, corruption. Let's put the fraud aside. Let's look at the corruption. So when we look at the 27 and the mandate falling in terms of the statutory offense of PRECA, the appointment is one, is the giving of a gratification, and two, the receiving of a gratification in terms of Section 3A and 3B of PRECA. And that gratification falls in the definitions of gratifications in Section 1 of PRECA. So I'm deriving it from that.
Yes.
That it amounts around gratification.
Let me interrupt you. You say, your testimony is that IDAC gets seized of this matter because of a referral, by virtue of a Section 27 referral. Am I correct?
Yes.
That's been your testimony.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Section 27 tells you under what circumstances does a referral get made.
Yes.
It says if you reasonably suspect, if you have reasonable grounds to suspect that there is a specified offense that is committed or that is about to be committed, or an attempt is being made to commit a specified offense. That's an operational word, specified offense. It has to be a specified offense. Now, when you go to 7.1A, sub 1 used to contain a specified offense. It's no longer there. And sub 1A doesn't deal with specified offense. Sub 1A has nothing to do with this referral. It tells you it has to be serious, high profile, or complex corruption, commercial, or financial crime. Sub 2 talks about fraud, those common law offenses. Sub 3 introduces PRECA, you have not testified that you acted in terms of PRECA. You've said, we acted in terms of a referral under Section 27. That's what your testimony is.
Yes,
that's what gave us jurisdiction, that's what got us started.
Yes,
and you say you are confident that the requirement in 27 is met. That's why you are able to investigate this. And what I have sought to show you, and I'm happy to leave it at you've given your best answer on this, is that 27 requires for there to be a complaint of a specified offense. There is no definition of specified offense in this act. So 27 could not be where you drew your authority from. That's what I'm putting to you.
I'm still struggling with it, Commissioner.
All right, your position is you acted in terms of Section 27, and you say it gave you jurisdiction.
That is it.
What you said to the chairperson, and that's why I'm having this discussion with you. But I've heard your answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Ms. Sillo,
Yes, Chair.
I hope I did not encroach too much on the terrain that you are still to
No, not at all, Chair,
Thank
because
you.
they lead into each other. The
Yeah,
two
thank you.
statements are
Thank you.
inseparable. The issue really
Thank you.
is, and which is the next affidavit we are going to go to, we were dealing with the contents of the docket. It's longer than your A1, running into about 5 pages. It's fair to say.
More or less, yes.
My summary of what is set out here, without necessarily working through every paragraph, is that at paragraph 1, it simply refers to the 3 cases opened at the Cape Town police station and provides case numbers. You see that?
I see it.
And then the deponent says after these cases were opened, he was then informed that they were taken from the Cape Town police station to the office of the Provincial Commissioner, Western Cape. Then he expresses a view that he doesn't trust the Provincial Commissioner, General Padayachee, so that's just background information. At paragraph 2, that's when, as I read, the author engages with the real issues that would address the requirements of Section 27. And I interpret that, in summary, to be an allegation that General Khumalo and the other persons listed there, including Generals Lushaba and Madondo and other senior crime intelligence officers, are busy with the systematic capture of crime intelligence division. So that's one suspicion. The next suspicion is at paragraph 4. And it is expressed thus: I suspect that General Khumalo and some of the other senior officers in crime intelligence, including Madondo and Lushaba, were manipulating procurement processes and processes to appoint and promote certain members to higher strategic positions within crime intelligence. Then says, makes reference to the civilian who was working at BMW. Then towards the bottom of that paragraph expresses a view on this alleged conduct, which he says is the worst one of the lot of highly questionable appointments. The bottom of that paragraph then indicates the appointments at the various offices in the country must be investigated. So his second suspicion is the manipulation of procurement processes and processes to appoint and promote. The next one is at paragraph 7, and I'll skip paragraph 6 for the moment. Paragraph 7, that's where he expresses his third suspicion, which is that General Khumalo, Lushaba, and Madondo, and many of those who they have appointed, are actively siphoning money from the secret fund accounts in the country. Then he expresses his understanding is what the author suspects. And you recall when you looked at Section 27, Section 27 has got 3 requirements: that the nature of the suspicion must be stated, which I believe it does. The Section 27 then must state the grounds on which the suspicion is based. On my reading of this Section 27 referral affidavit, I don't see the grounds on which any of the three suspicions is based. Am I misreading it, perhaps?
In the referral.
In the referral affidavit, where are the grounds of the suspicions expressed by the author? Because Section 27 said that affidavit must contain the grounds.
The only inference that I can draw from here, and be mindful again of this Section 27. Section 27 is not dealt with me, but dealt at management level.
Okay.
I only get to deal with it at the tail end when the preliminary investigation is authorized. But be that as it may, I will respond as such that reasonable grounds, looking at the referral, there's allegations and serious allegations been made. And these allegations, have to be tested to see but it's serious enough. It deals with crime intelligence. Crime intelligence is responsible for the national security of the country. And for me, that day is something that's very important. So myself, as an investigator down here that does criminal investigations, this is how I will approach it. The Section 27 referral says one thing, but myself as an investigating officer, let's not look at 27. Let's just look at this that has come to me. I will take this here and investigate it in a preliminary way to establish if what he is saying, if there is substance to it. So that is from my side. But like I said, I don't deal with the Section 27 referral. I'm the investigating officer here at the tail end that receives the authorization. I'm authorized there to be involved in the investigation. I look at the allegations, go out and see whether what is said here is true or not true. There are serious allegations.
So then, if I understand you correctly, you depart from the premise that once you are authorized, whoever granted you the authority has satisfied themselves that the referral affidavit itself complies with Section 27.
Exactly, Commissioner.
Yes.
Exactly, Chairperson.
When you say it's management that makes the decision, who is that? Who is management?
Commissioner?
You say management makes the decision that this must be investigated. It's not you that makes the decision.
Yes.
It's management, so they have satisfied themselves. Who is management?
Management will be the head of the office and her management on that level,
Okay.
like your committee or your management, which looks at. But it's the head of office together with her management that makes the decisions. These belong in the IDAC space. It gets sent, it gets authorized, it gets sent down to us on the ground level, and we take it from there.
Okay, but the main person in that committee is Ms. Johnson.
It's the head
Would
of
be Ms.
office.
Johnson.
Final decision lays with the head of office.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I guess, let me just test. The Section 27 referral affidavit does come to your attention, though, once you are authorized.
The Section 27 referral, I don't see it.
Oh, you don't get to see it?
I don't see it. As I said, and to go back, my end where I come in is the designation 2813 that comes up to say, I am now appointed on this preliminary investigation.
So, oh, sorry, my apologies.
So the chief criminal investigator, whom we report to, who's responsible for us in that investigation, has the puzzle of what this whole allegation investigation about. He briefs us, and we follow his directives from there to go out and search for evidence, take witness statements. So what I'm saying to you, we at the middle ground, we are the work soldiers out there. Management makes a decision, authorizes it, it comes down, we comply.
Understood. So it wouldn't serve much purpose to interrogate the contents of this affidavit with you because it doesn't come to your attention. When did you first become aware of the referral affidavit and its contents?
I think it was during the start of the investigation, it was mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, it was mentioned that there was a referral and on a number of aspects of corruption within crime intelligence. And that's about it.
Okay.
But
I find it hard to believe that you would not have sight of that referral affidavit. I find that very hard to believe. I mean, that's what is actually going to kickstart your investigation as an investigator. Why would that be withheld from you? It just does not make sense. No, I find it hard to believe that. Because when you are asked to investigate, that's exactly what you should be given. What's this person complaining about so that I can then start my investigation? I find it very hard to believe what you're saying. So you are required to rely on what you are told by word of mouth, by your seniors who saw or who had sight of this referral affidavit. Why not just give you that affidavit for you to see for yourself what the complaint is about? No. I find that very hard to believe, Colonel.
Can I respond to
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. As I explained in my evidence in chief, is that the Section 27 referral, I had no insight into it. I heard about the 27 and the allegations. My chief criminal investigator, the chief criminal investigator who I report to, who sits with management, he has the more intricate knowledge that comes down to us as investigators, and we are briefed.
And chooses to tell you by word of mouth what the complaint was about instead of simply giving you that. I understand she or he may speak to the document if they want to when they are briefing you, but why not just give you that document?
So I cannot answer that question.
Do you accept that it doesn't make sense for you not to be given that document? Simply doesn't.
Let me just say it this way.
Do you accept that it does not make sense for you not to be given that document?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, tell me.
What I'm responding to factually, and this is factually, the chief criminal investigator was responsible for us.
I'm not talking about this instance now. I'm talking generally. Does it make sense for the investigator not to be given the Section 27 referral affidavit? Does that make sense? In general terms now. In
general terms, on hindsight, now that you're bringing it, and I would say moreover, Commissioner, and this is the truth.
Does it make sense or not to be given the Section 27 referral affidavit? Does it make sense? That is for an investigator, any investigator, does it make sense?
Commissioner,
I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I hope you understand where I'm saying. I'm saying, based on what you tell us, the chief investigator tells you orally what happened, what the referral is about, and you are then required to investigate. What I'm saying is, even if they are very good at relaying information that they have come across, the bottom line is the best source is the document. That saying is, does it make sense for you not to be given that source document? Does it make sense?
Commissioner, it does not make sense, but I have to be truthful to the Commission and answer for that particular time. At that time, I did not request it, I did not ask for it, but as you say, it does not make sense. And at this point in time, I am saying, yes, sir, it does not make sense.
That's all.
At that moment in time, we are being briefed. And from the operational side, you're listening, is your chief, you're preparing yourself for your investigation. But what you are saying did not make sense. Sitting here now, I can say, yes, it does not make sense.
That's all I wanted. It just doesn't. I mean, looking at everything objectively, it simply doesn't make sense, which is why when I started engaging you, I said, I find it very hard to believe that you would not have had sight of that document. You insist that you did not.
No, I did not have sight of it initially, sir.
Thank you.
I did have sight of it after, and I was the one that had given counsel a copy of the Section 27. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Advocate Silla, can I go ahead first? Just to follow up, Colonel, you would have seen now the Section 27 affidavit. It makes several allegations. Some of them are siphoning funds from the secret accounts in the country. Some of them are secret funds being given to certain ministers. Some of them are, so there's a lot of them. And then there's this one that deals with the appointment of an outsider to the position of brigadier. Now, when your chief investigator or management were giving you a task, what did they say you must investigate? Did they say, ignore all the other allegations in the Section 27 affidavit, focus only on this one? I'm asking you that because the January 2025 affidavit and that cover sheet that we looked at on page 680 only deals with the appointment of the brigadier. What became of all the other allegations that are in the Section 27?
Commissioner, as I said, and initially when I spoke about myself in a team with investigation. There are several investigations. Two of them I have, which are in court. There's another investigation that was finalized, and there are other investigations that are still being investigated and to be finalized. Those are the other aspects. To name them was the appointments, the incident of there's a Secret Service fund. There's a whole lot of other investigations that are currently taking place. So therefore, when I did appear in court, I mentioned it, that we are currently busy with other investigations, which includes the accused before court, as well as other members in other offences that have been committed within that sector. So within that Section 27, it's not just one matter that you have there. It's several different ones.
Sorry, what are the several ones? Can you just...
Several ones where he touches on the Secret Service fund.
No, he's not alleging any facts. He says, I suspect this is what you want to do. You can't speak of it as if it's an allegation of facts. So you say, out of this Section 27, we are investigating other matters, and I'm inviting you to point out in this Section 27 affidavit, what are these other facts that have been alleged that make you investigate these other matters?
Thank you, Commissioner. The other investigations on that were the mention of the Secret Service account.
Okay, let's go to the paragraph that you say is the basis for you investigating this, which you describe as investigation of the Secret Service account. Just take us to the paragraph in the Section 27, now that you've seen it. You say you didn't know about it, or you hadn't seen it then. Now that you have seen it, take us to the paragraph that finds that investigation into the Secret Service account.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me just go back before I come to the paragraph 7. When the briefing from the chief criminal investigator to us as investigators came, these things were mentioned about the Secret Service fund, the appointments, etc. To point out now, on the Section 27 referral, if we go to paragraph 7, my suspicion is that General Khumalo, Lushaba, Madondo, and many of those who have been appointed are actively siphoning money from the Secret Service fund in the country.
Yes. What about it? What about that paragraph?
It's an allegation that's made, but the Secret Service fund...
It's a suspicion. It's not an allegation. It's a suspicion. He says,
yes,
my suspicion is this is what they're doing. He's not alleging any facts. In fact, he's not saying, I allege that they are siphoning money. He says, I suspect they are doing that.
Yes.
How does that paragate the Secret Service fund? That paragraph 7 as it stands. That's a very low threshold. Remember earlier you were discussing with the chairperson about the threshold that triggers your investigation. It has to be there has to be a reasonable suspicion, reasonable basis. All he says is my suspicion is they're siphoning funds. He doesn't say why. where does that suspicion come from? He doesn't say that. Why do you say this is the basis to investigate the secret fund, secret service fund?
Commissioner, I'm finding it hard to explain it in a way that I understand it, and taking it from the document and my understanding of crime intelligence too as well. The Secret Service Fund is open out there for many years, for more than 3 decades.
Yeah,
And
I'm going
abuse
to stop you. I'm going to stop you because my question has nothing to do with the historical operations of the Secret Service Fund, and I'm quite mindful that we've probably strayed from where Ms. Sello's roadmap leads her. So I'm just going to make the comment now, and we can always come back to the discussion. You say this Section 27 affidavit is the basis for you conducting all the many other investigations, remember, beyond the employment issue. Remember, Commissioner Khumalo says
Yes.
the complaint is the employment
Yes.
appointment, but you seem to have investigated. What about the other issues that are raised in this affidavit, the suspicions? You
Yes.
say, well, we are conducting many investigations, and I even went to court and told the court that we are investigating many other cases. And I say, show us in this Section 27, insofar as you are relying on it, show us which paragraph makes an allegation which finds a reasonable suspicion that funds are being siphoned by these particular people that are named, Khumalo, Lushaba, Madondo, and many of those who have been appointed. And I say, what facts is this man alleging to support his suspicion? And I'm worried that IDAC acts just on an expression of suspicion. Then you must have a very big caseload if your threshold is that low.
Commissioner,
Yes.
as I said, I didn't have insight into the Section 27 referral at the time of the briefing. When we conducted once we started with the preliminary investigation, we subpoenaed documents. On the basis of documents that were received, there was investigations done where the Secret Service Fund came into the frame of it, which gave us a basis to say we need to look at this whilst we're busy with this investigation.
Okay. Lastly, so the documents that you are referring to, based on the investigation documents, they actually showed you that Khumalo, Lushaba, Madondo are involved in siphoning funds.
No,
Does it go that far?
The documents didn't show and point to Khumalo or Madondo or what. The documents showed that there were possibilities of money being utilized unlawfully from the Secret Service Fund,
Okay.
money being siphoned. So that investigation, we're still busy with it, but
Okay.
there are allegations there.
All right, thank you.
That's the only way I could explain it on that day. Thank you, ma'am.
I do apologize, Ms. Sil.
Can you maybe complete this picture? Did you, as investigating officer, obtain affidavits from Mr. Adams in relation to all these complaints that are mentioned in the Section 27? I'm asking that because there's a January 2025 affidavit that sets out at least the conclusions in relation to the appointment of the brigadier.
Yes.
But the complaints in the Section 27 affidavit, there were many. In fact, in paragraph 9 of that complaint, Mr. Adams says, I therefore request the IDAC to investigate these cases. So all of these cases that he has mentioned, and he's prepared to cooperate fully in the investigations and to explain. So were affidavits obtained in respect of all the cases that he mentioned in his Section 27?
That is correct. There's not one affidavit of Mr. Adams, Chair, Commissioner. There's
So
not
the
one.
only affidavit, sorry to interrupt you, the only affidavit is the one dealing with the appointment of the
Appointment
brigadier.
one. So there are other affidavits in the other dockets and investigations that are dealing with that separately. So I hope I came across there.
I think because we spoke over each other, and I apologize for that, for the purposes of the transcript getting you correctly, can you just repeat
Thank
that?
you.
I apologize that we
Thank you.
spoke over each other.
But there's clarity now, Chair, that there's not one Mr. Adams A1. There's the A1 for the Mokwele investigation. There's an A1 for the Lushaba investigation and the other investigations. Remember, Commissioner, there were dockets that were opened, the ones I mentioned initially, where there were affidavits in there that were very flimsy, didn't have much content on it. So it had to be taken, looked at, investigated, and then affidavits obtained. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chair.
I do not, and I hope I'm speaking for my co-commissioners here, you should not leave that witness stand under the impression that we are suggesting that the alleged offenses were not committed. We do not know that.
Yes, sir.
Our concern is about process and whether the investigation pursuant to a referral was properly grounded.
Yes.
That is what we are engaging you on. Whether or not the offenses were actually committed is not what we are engaging you, not at this stage.
I understand, Chair, and if I could get and ask to pardon me, and maybe I must apologize. I know that you want to know the procedure in it, but I am a participant in these investigations, actively involved with the picture and the scenario. And as I spoke to Council yesterday, I'm also protective over my investigations because I need to complete it. And I'm having challenges and problems at the moment because crime intelligence is not an easy environment. And there are a couple of my witnesses who are no longer taking my calls. So that goes for me to start from scratch again to try and get what I want to get and to prove the case. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Perhaps lastly, at this stage, not lastly for the day, lastly at this stage, let me engage you on something I understood you to be saying in response to a question by Ms. Sillo. You seemed to say once you have received something coming from, let me just loosely say, the top, you just go ahead and investigate and you do not question that. A functionary at your level who investigates and whose investigations may have serious implications for an individual surely cannot act like something automated, and as opposed to a warm-blooded individual. Let me give this example, or let me posit this. There may be instances where, to anybody, something that comes from the top is patently unfounded, patently has no factual basis whatsoever. Are you telling us that even in such instances, you just go ahead and investigate and not raise your concerns with those above you about the fact that this is patently unfounded? Are you saying you just act like a robot and go ahead and investigate and not even engage them? As what would become of that engagement is something else altogether. But I'm asking you just about not engaging whatsoever. Is that what you are telling us?
No, sir.
What then are you saying?
What I'm saying there, if
And
I don't,
try to link that with the response you gave to Ms. Sillo then.
yes, sir. I hear on the response that I've given. From what I heard from my chief criminal investigator and the briefing that he's done, I didn't have any concerns.
You see, I understood you to be saying, once I get something from the top, then I investigate. And I understood that to mean that that is how you operate generally. That is how I understood you.
If there is,
Correct me if I misheard you.
I will, sir. If there is something that comes from top management, even if it's from the chief criminal investigator, irrespective whether it's chief investigator or who, my point comes that I come from a veteran stage of many years in the service. If there's something that I do not agree with an investigation, and I find that it is unlawful,
it doesn't even have to go to an agenda.
Yes.
Just at the level of it totally being unfounded factually.
Yes.
But of course, you may add that if you want to. I didn't even get there. It's totally unfounded.
Yes.
Please continue.
If it's totally unfounded, I will mention that it's totally unfounded. And if they insist on it, I will step away and refuse to be further involved in it. That is just it.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Silva.
Thank you, Chair. You recall, as we were working through that affidavit, I said